Welcome to LightHouse KinShip's devotional video, Parallel Path, Contrasting Thought, Psalm 63, 1, 7, and 8, Amplified. O God, you are my God. With deepest longings I will seek you. My soul, my life, my very self thirsts for you. My flesh longs and sighs for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water.
For you have been my help, and in the shadow of your wings, where I am always protected, I sing for joy. My soul, my life, my very self clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. Today is Friday, August the 5th, 2022. Monica and I are here at Kirker Covered Bridge over the East Fork Eagle Creek, West Union, Ohio.
Bobby and I have taken 2 scenic day trips aboard 2 different trains, but we have never taken an overnight journey aboard a passenger train. No matter a short scenic day trip or an overnight journey aboard a passenger train, the path of the train travels on parallel tracks. The path of our lives can resemble the parallel path of the train. We have joy and sorrow simultaneously, but we continue moving forward on our parallel path.
2 Corinthians 6 verse 10 TLB. Our hearts ache, but at the same time we have the joy of the Lord. We are poor, but we give rich spiritual gifts to others. We own nothing, and yet we enjoy everything.
David gives testimony to this parallel path of life. 1 Samuel chapter 16, the Lord spoke to the prophet Samuel to stop grieving over the past and start anew.
1 Samuel 16 verses 1 and 10 to 13 NIV. The Lord said to Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him as king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king. Jesse had 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, but Samuel said to him, The Lord has not chosen these. So he asked Jesse, Are these all the sons you have? There is still the youngest, Jesse answered. He's tending the sheep. Samuel said, Send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent for him and had him brought in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, Rise and anoint him. This is the one. So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. Samuel then went to Ramah.
Within seconds, David's young teenage life was aboard the parallel path of joy and sorrow.
1 Samuel 18 verses 5 to 9 NIV. Whatever mission Saul sent him on, David was so successful that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs and with timbrels and lyres. As they danced, they sang, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands. Saul was very angry. This refrain displeased him greatly. They have credited David with tens of thousands, he thought, but me with only thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom? And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David. 1 Samuel 19, verse 1 and 2 NIV. Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David. But Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, My father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on your guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there.
Bobby and I are also aboard our train traveling along the parallel path of unspeakable joy and simultaneously immobilizing grief and despair.
Psalm 126, verses 5 and 6 ESV. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him.
Saul gave birth to a jealous spirit, and for over a decade he terrorized David. However, David had several opportunities to take vengeance on Saul, but David was faithful to God's promise of him being king and leaving Saul in God's divine hands.
2 Samuel 5, verse 4 and 5, ESV. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. At Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and at Jerusalem he reigned over all Israel and Judah 33 years.
It has been over a decade since Bobby and I have been aboard our parallel path of unspeakable joy and devastating grief and despair. However, we too, just like King David, hold tightly to God's promises.
Psalm 63, verse 9 to 11, NIV. Those who want to kill me will be destroyed. They will go down to the depths of the earth. They will be given over to the sword and become food for jackals. But the king will rejoice in God. All who swear by God will glory in him, while the mouths of liars will be silenced.
This concludes our devotional video of LightHouse KinShip, Parallel Path, Contrasting Thoughts. Romans 12, verse 9, 11, and 13, NIV. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual favor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality.
Monica and I thank you for traveling along with us today here at Otway Covered Bridge over the Scioto Brush Creek in Otway, Ohio. Come along and journey with us by subscribing to our channel. Hit that little notification bell so that you won't miss our next stop. And please, give us a thumbs up, liking our videos, and help us to spread the gospel by sharing these videos on your social media platforms. Thank you for leaving your comments below on how these devotions are helping you, and also your prayer requests so that we know how to pray for you.